Hey folks, Stuart Warren, guide with the Ashland Fly Shop. I want to talk to you a little bit about dry fly tactics out here and kind of what to look for and what kind of a fly to fish in certain different types of water. So here we are today in some really nice, slick, slow moving water. It's about 3 to 6 feet deep, lots of structure, the top of a big rapid or climb, so those fish are going to pull into this pool and take a little breather, and that's where we're going to try to ambush them. When I'm fishing these slower water environments with kind of a nice flat surface, I like to fish a muddler that's been riffle hitched. That way the muddler stays up on surface, but it doesn't cause too much commotion. With a slick water environment, those fish are seeing absolutely everything, especially on the surface. So if you're fishing a big foamy dry fly across that slick stuff here on the Rogue, those fish may not go for it. They also might, you just never know. But I have a tendency to be more confident in fishing a nice riffle hitched muddler in this sort of a scenario. With these slower water environments, you want to think about bringing your casting angle up to just below straight across the river instead of casting at that true 45, which a lot of us do with a dry line or dry fly. That way you can build a little bit of a downstream belly in that line and kind of pull that muddler across the surface. So I'm going to use a snap tee for this cast because my snap tee is going to allow me to turn a little bit bigger angle than my single spay. And you see I cast it just about straight across. I'm going to kick it just a little bend in the back of it, and then I'm going to just kind of pull that muddler across the surface here and let it just slide right across there. And that thing's out there skating beautifully right now. It's not being ripped across there, but it's definitely being pulled across. And so just bear that in mind when you're doing this. If you see your fly really ripping through there, kick a mend into it upstream. But that casting angle here is really crucial. So I'm going to snap tee again here. I'm going to kick just a little mend in the back of the head. I'm not going to turn the whole thing. And I'm just going to let that fly pull right across that slick stuff again. Now keep an eye on that fly because you will see the fish come up for it. You're not always going to see the fish grab it, but that's going to be a good indicator in there that you've got a player. So keep an eye on that fly, and if you see a boil underneath it or you see a big flash behind it or something, don't take any steps, don't take any line off the reel, just go ahead and cast it back in there the same way that you did before. Now I've got my fly out there working again. Let's say I saw a fish on that last swing. And so I'm going to see if he'll come back for it on this second pass. If he doesn't come back for it on the second pass, I'm going to go ahead and just switch my fly to a nice traditional bug, you know, something like Anderson's Euphoria or Greenbutt Skunk or Silver Hilton, whatever your favorite one is there. And I'm just going to give him the exact same presentation. So we're just going to pretend like I switched the fly to a little traditional. I'm going to send it back in there. Make the same exact mend. I haven't changed my length. I didn't take any steps. And I'm just going to see if that fish will come back for that wet fly. A lot of times getting that fly down just below the surface will get that fish that's feeling a little active but wasn't willing to take the dry to come back. In fact, that happened to me this morning. I rose a fish to the dry. He didn't even touch it. I didn't feel him. But because I was casting short, I saw the fish. I switched it to a little traditional fly and the fish ate it on the next pass. So stick with the fish you find. They don't always come back, but a lot of times they will. So if you raise one and he doesn't take it, show it to him again. If he doesn't take it that second pass, pull it in, keep your line the same length, don't take any steps, switch your fly to a little traditional wet fly and cast it back in there, and a lot of times that'll seal the deal. All right, so here we are. We've got a nice heavy choppy piece of water here. You look out, you'll see lots of waves. This run in particular has lots of structure to it. So in this case, when I'm fishing a dry fly, my goal is to really try to get those fish to come up out of the depths to eat that bug. And when I'm fishing some of this heavier, choppier water, I like to get a big foamy fly out there, something they're gonna see, and I'm actually gonna give it some pops here or there, or chug it. And what that does is just creates a lot of commotion so that in those choppy big waves, those fish can really see it. I think they hear it, and I especially think they feel it. So when I'm fishing stuff like this, I'm going to tend to cast a little farther downstream than I would in like a slower piece of water. So faster current, I'm gonna cast at more of a true 45-degree angle downstream so that fly doesn't just get ripped through there really quick. The cast I like to use in this case is a snake roll. I can kind of angle that down a little bit. It's not the best cast for casting downstream, but I just prefer to snake roll. If you don't know how to snake roll, a snap tee works just fine for cutting that lower angle. Once that fly lands out there, I'm not gonna mend it. I'm just gonna start giving it little chugs here or there and make that fly kind of pop a little bit. So if there's a fish sitting down on the bottom in there, he's gonna see that fly working across. And I really like, in this case, to be pretty consistent with those pops as it comes across, especially in that high, heavy, choppy stuff. And then as it pulls into the inside, into that softer stuff, I'm gonna kind of slow down the chugs, maybe give it one here or there, or not even chug it at all. But as it's coming through that heavy stuff, give it some pops, or use a fly that just really makes a lot of commotion. I think these fish are really curious. And when they see that fly kind of chugging across the surface, they're gonna come up to see what it is. What is that up there making all that racket? Some of the best grabs I've had have been kind of chugging the fly through some of these runs on the Rogue. You know, maybe I'll give it a couple pops and then let it skate, or I'll just pop it all the way across. So if you come out and you're gonna fish a dry fly and you're gonna fish heavy current, remember, keep that casting angle downstream like a true 45. Don't mend it because you want that fly to land and start fishing immediately, and then give it some of those pops. Get out there and have fun.